So let's take a look at this question. So Peter had 3 times as many stickers as Yenni. John had 63 fewer stickers than Peter. The 3 children had 119 stickers altogether. How many more did Yenni have than John? Okay, so by looking at this question, the first thing we ask ourselves is that, do we have any of the values of any one of them? Meaning to say that, do I know how many stickers does Peter have? Do I know how many stickers does Yenni have? And do I know how many stickers does John have? Okay, so if you observe from this question, none of the values are given to us for any one of them. They only gave us comparison statements such as 3 times and fewer. And they just plainly give us the total. So with all these comparison statements and the total given to us, the only way we can continue from here is to record down a comparison model. Okay, there is no way we can do this without the model unless the question provides us with a value of either Peter, Yenni, or John. Okay, then that one is possible to do it without a model. All right, so let's begin by drawing the model for the first sentence. Always usually begin with the first sentence to draw your comparison first. Okay, so Peter have 3 times as much as Yenni, meaning to say that Peter would have 3 units and Yenni would only have 1 unit. Okay, very straightforward for such a model. Now, if you read on, the next one would be John. So John has 63 fewer than Peter. Okay, so with this fewer than Peter, I can say that John's model could look something like that. Okay, so just look at my model first. It could be like this. Notice that John is smaller than Peter still, right? I can also say John could be something like that. Can you see it's still smaller than Peter? Or I can also say that John, it could be something like that. It is still smaller than Peter. All my red models there are all possible models to represent John at this point. Okay, so if you notice when you draw John's model, later you must remind yourself that I should not be cutting John's model into units because any of these 3 models could be possible. Imagine if you cut it into units like that. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Then you're telling me say that John could consist of 1 unit, or maybe in another scenario he can have like 2 units, which obviously doesn't make sense in this case, yeah, because we do not know how many units is inside John's model. We only know that John must be smaller than Peter. That's all we know. All right. Okay, now how am I going to draw John then? How do I know which one to use? Now, if you look at your last statement, the last question, they ask you how many more did Yenni have than John? From this statement, it means Yenni must have more than John, right? From the model, what we can understand is John must be lesser than Peter from this sentence. And from the last statement, we know that John also must be lesser than Yenni, which also means that John is the smallest group in this case. Okay, John must have the least number of stickers, so maybe I'll just draw John like this. Smaller than Yenni, but also smaller than Peter. All right, so you got to observe across the 2 statements here how to decide how to draw for John. Okay, so now let's label the 63. We haven't done that yet. John had 63 fewer than Peter. Okay, between Peter and John, okay, don't look at Yenni. Just focus on P and J. Between Peter and John, the difference is 63. So the difference meaning to say this gap, okay, this gap is the difference between P and J, not this one, okay? This one is the difference between Yenni and J. You want difference between P and J, 63 is from here to here, yeah? Okay, so this will be your 63. Okay, and now we can go on to label the total stickers. So total, there's 119 stickers. Just do it at the side here. And done. Okay, so first step of recording your information, you have completed that by drawing a model. Next step is study through your model. Now, normally for comparison model, when we are given a difference like this, we will usually take the total minus the extra portion here. Okay, then we can work out with the units later on, right? That's what we usually do. Now, however, if I were to say 119 minus 63, okay, so don't rush through. Some of you straight away put 119 minus 63. Now you need to relate this back to the model and understand what does 119 minus 63 mean. Okay, so if you take 119 minus 63, then you're telling me, say that, okay, I cut this, and I know the top extra portion here is 63, right, from the red line to the end here. So what you're saying is that I need to take away this portion. Okay, don't write this down first. Just look at the screen and understand what I'm doing here. So 119 minus 63 means you're taking away this portion. Okay. Now, if you take away this portion, this answer would then represent this white portion, this white portion, this white portion, and also this little part. How then are you going to divide by a number of units later on? How then do you decide how many units represents this answer here? So then you see we are stuck. We run into a dead end. There's no way we can continue from here. Okay, so students, just remember when you do your step, when you straight away jump into subtraction, right? You gotta understand the idea when you subtract what actually is happening. This is the thing that's happening, and you'll realize it's a dead end. There's no way you can work with units here because I have this Yenni one whole unit. John is less than a unit, and then this Peter white color portion is also less than a unit. So there's no way I can find out how many units is this answer here, yeah? So then minusing 63 will be impossible to use. Okay, so I'm just going to erase all this. Now, how then do we solve this? Okay, so we can't subtract 63, which means that most likely we will have to top up 63 into the total. Okay, when you top up 63 means you add 63. Between 119 and 63, you add them together. Now, there's a reason why I say add them together. If you add them together, right, you realize that for John's model, I am actually treating the whole of John now as 3 whole units to be the same as Peter. Because I see this 63 is the difference between Peter and John. The moment I introduce 63 into their total, I am actually stretching out John's model as if it's 3 units, same as Peter. Okay, and that exactly is what we're going to do. The moment I can treat John as 3 units, then I can start to work with all the units safely already without having to worry whether I end up with a constant number of units or not. Okay, so this is the whole idea. Make John the same quantity as Peter, which is 3 units, by adding this 63 into the 119. So this is what I just explained. So let's find out how many units are there now, the moment I top this up into the 119. Okay, so I call this the top up method. Okay, later I'll write that down. So I call this the top up method. So let's find out how many units are there first. Peter stay as 3 units. Yenni, of course, stay as 1 unit. But now John, I'm treating him as if it's like Peter, the whole of 3 units. So now I plus 3u, which is 7 units altogether. Of course, it's not really 7 units. Okay, I'm just pretending and treating it as 7 units so that I can work out the value of 1u later on. It's just for that purpose. And now what is the 7 units value? So 7 units, can I say, is it just 119? Obviously not, because now that I treat John as 3 units, this 63 has to go into the total here. So 7 units will be 119 plus 63. Can you see with this step, I can safely work towards the value of 1 unit? Okay, so to find 1 unit, just do the division. So 1 unit is a value of 26. Notice that the 1 unit 26 is applicable for Yenni, right? Because Yenni is 1 whole unit. So we can write that down. Okay, so Yenni is 1u. Okay, so after finding 1 unit, always read back the question to see what we are interested in. So the question is asking how many more did Yenni have than John? Now let's identify this more part. So the more means the difference between Yenni and John, correct? Okay, so if you look at Yenni and John's, the difference is actually this really small portion here. So I'm just going to partition that out. Okay, and you can just put a question mark there. Which means I will be interested in these 2 people, Yenni and John. Currently, I already have Yenni stickers, which is 26. Okay, so our next target is to find out how many does John have. Now, but at this point with this 26, is it possible to straight away find the value of John? It's not possible, right? You notice there's no way I can find John with this 26 because I don't even know this difference. How am I supposed to do that? Right? Okay, so then the only way I can work with is work with Peter because I know Peter has 3 units. Later, to find Peter, once I found Peter, I can do something with Peter to work out John because don't forget, John has 63 lesser than Peter. With this information, it would be super helpful. All right, so let's go and find out how many does Peter have. Peter has 3 units, very straightforward. So 26 times 3 Okay, the moment I know Peter is 78, this is 78. Can you see now I can find John? John has 63, fewer than 78. So to find John, you just need to take 78 minus 63. Okay, so now I know John is 15. This is 15 stickers. And of course, now I can then work towards the question mark that we wanted earlier. Okay, so the question mark will be just take the difference between these two people, 26 minus 15, and that will be a difference of 11 stickers.